Hi, I'm Carrie, and this is Crafting a Little Unhinged. All right, so what am I working on? I'm working on a tank top. This is the Mulberry Top by Yarn Andy. It's a Tunisian tank top, which in her pattern, she recommends making it 2 pieces flat, but she also says that you can work it in the round, and as usual recommends that you have 2 separate balls of yarn, but that is not how I roll. So I am trying to make this tank top in the round using 1 gradient cake, which is, I don't know, this Skeppies cotton whirl. And I'm just going all the way around, and then I'm using the same yarn for my return pass, which kind of makes it really interesting when you get to the beginning, because you gotta, I don't know, figure it out. But I'm a little unhinged, so I made it work, and I'm sure it's gonna look fine. This is a sample for a Tunisian crochet along at the yarn store that I also work part-time at, and I'm working on it right now because my boss got a hold of me yesterday and wanted to know how things were going with it. And the truth is I haven't touched it in like 3 weeks. And so now I'm like panic crocheting. So when I go to the store a little bit later, I can tell her, oh look, I'm making progress. It's totally going to be ready for the crochet along. So it's going to be totally fine, I'm sure. We don't actually have dates set yet, so of course it's going to be fine. But, yes. That's what's going on there. It's just really challenging to find time to get everything done. My littles, which you just recently heard in the background, are 4 and 4.5 and 3. And for 4 months they were in preschool, and so I had like 6 hours a day to work on stuff. And as you can hear, they are no longer in preschool. So my dedicated work time has reduced by a very significant margin. But it's fine. So why Crafting Unhinged? Great question. I was scrolling a little bit this morning and saw a suggestion for they were talking about knitting specifically, but a craft channel that is more than, this is the yarn I bought, this is the stuff I'm making, and I don't know, people were just saying that knitting YouTube is boring. So I was mulling about that for a whole 15 minutes and thought, I have all kinds of free time in my life. Do you know what I should do? I should fill that niche of non-boring knitting YouTube. Now, to be honest, I don't watch a lot of things, so I can neither confirm nor deny the boringness of knitting YouTube. But as you can see, I do more than knit, and so I didn't want something specifically knitting, but I thought, I'm a ball of chaos, and maybe it could be fun content, and maybe even I could find some people who would want to buy my patterns. So I'm a pattern designer as well, and an author, and so I thought it would be fun. I thought it would be fun to maybe try something with the gobs of free time that I now have. That's a joke. I have no free time. I don't know why I'm doing this, but it sounded fun. I like to do lots of crafts, and I'm also a pattern designer. I have patterns for sale. I just published my first kids book, which is super fun, so that's available. And I just thought it would be fun to, I don't know, capitalize on the autism and the ADHD and have an absolute ball of chaos YouTube videos that have absolutely no structure, no plan, no agenda, other than to make money, obviously, and see what happens. Will it work? Probably not. I'm going to try it anyway for a little while. Will I be consistent? Who the heck knows? It's all a great mystery. And yeah, do I have editing software? No. Do I know what I'm doing? No. gonna try it anyway? Sure. What could possibly go wrong? I don't know, at worst I make a few videos and then I get tired of it and it doesn't happen anymore. And at best I actually end up having a blast and find some more community and maybe make a little bit of money, which would be beneficial. And starting something is always really hard. I don't know. I never know like the best way to start. Do I pretend like I've been doing this forever? Do I do a big fat intro video? Who knows? I'm just figuring this out as I go. It seemed like fun, but now I'm at the end of my round and I'm recording this on my phone. And guess where my pattern also is? On the phone. So I have to go and I have to see what the next round is. Okay, I am finally ready to take on this shawl that I've been designing. And what I mean by take it on is I am 2 stitches short on the row that I should be on. And what's amazing about that is that it's a case of you work literally every single stitch and then you increase again on the end. And I'm fairly sure that the previous row was the correct stitch count because I've been putting stitch markers in every 10 stitches. See, I have to take them all out so I can rip out this whole row. I've been putting stitch markers in every 10 stitches so that I can count and keep count because I'm at like 500 some odd stitches. It's a ridiculous number. But there's 2 stitches missing. And if I was just making this shawl, I would just keep going and I wouldn't care and I would fudge it. But obviously as a designer, as a design, I need to know that it's going to work. Therefore, that's my dog. Freaking out about who knows what. Someone probably like walked by. As a designer, I need to know that it works and that it's, you know, like it's an incompetency with me and not an issue with the pattern. So this shawl has been sitting in timeout for a week now because I was so disappointed, sure, in my lack of 2 stitches. And I actually like really had to talk myself out of not just fudging it, but going back and fixing it properly. Because I was just very frustrated. I've been having issues with counting stitches this whole time. Which is why I finally started using the stitch marker every 10 stitches method. And that really solved like all of the counting problems. I've ripped out so many rows so many times because of ineptitude in counting because I wasn't using a nice easy method like this. So now this is what I get to do is I'm going to rip out this whole row. I'm going to count the previous row again, even though I already counted it and I already know that the stitch count is correct because stitch markers. But I'm going to do that and then I'm going to try again. So wish me luck as I do that. And hopefully I'm not just eventually setting this whole shawl on fire and telling the yarn dyer that my whole house and city burned down and I can't finish the shawl. I don't think she'd believe me anyway. But that's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling about it right now is maybe it could just be lost in an unfortunate accident and then I don't have to rip out this row and figure out the problems. But I really am, like this is the last row that I need to do before I do the final fancy-ish border. So I'm like 6 rows from the end. I just need to suck it up and do it and get it done. But yeah, you know, little things like these, super infuriating and just needs time out. It could have been done like last weekend if I had just done it, but no, I was too upset. I was too angry. I was too annoyed. And yeah, so I'm doing it now though. I'm doing it now, Stephanie, I'm doing it now. And then we get to move on to the next stage, which is taking my notes and transferring them to an actual written pattern. And then we tech edit because I finally have some money again in my business account. And then we test it and then it's ready to go, which would be super fun. right? That's how it goes. So I am going to go on and not record while I do any of that stuff, because heaven knows I've had enough trouble counting when I don't have distractions. I will let you know what happens on the other side. Been trying to convince myself to record this segment for a while. I'm not feeling particularly unhinged today, just really tired, truthfully. I don't know, things are weird. Okay. I promised you an update, and an update is what you're going to get. So did I, in fact, get the correct stitch count? Yes, I did. And I am now, if I can find the other end still, trying out these new compression gloves. I went for a run last week and my arms felt really weird, and I thought, hey, you know what would totally make this feel better? Compression sleeves. You know what I don't have? Compression sleeves. So I had shared that on, you know, my personal Facebook, as one does. And my dad immediately went out and bought me 2 pairs, because that's what my dad does. Anyway, so I found the other end of this shawl, and I'm now working on row 1 of the last 5 rows. So I made it a little ways, but yeah, not very far, because yeah, just my hands have been hurting as well. I just do way too much. I do way too much with my hands. Everything that I do is with my hands. You know, I write with my hands, and obviously I crochet, I knit with my hands, garden with my hands, I do everything with my hands. And so I'm hoping that, I don't know, something like these will kind of help to take care of those issues, and then also just getting some things off my plate, design wise, because I've got some like design obligations and all of that. That getting all of that off my plate and then kind of being able to start again with a fresh slate will really help, and then I can hopefully make some really good decisions about how much I take on at one time, instead of the constant overloading of myself and of my joints and my hands and my muscles. So that is that. I think this is gonna be the end of this first episode, because quite frankly, I need to get these videos off my phone. I'm like redlining my storage space, and so I need to yeah, take care of that, edit things, and get this out there. Do I know what frequency I'm going to be doing this with? No, I do not. Have I thought about this at all? No, I have not. Did I do this completely impulsively? Yes, I did. But hopefully, what I'm really hoping for is, oh, look at that, fun color changes. What I'm really hoping is that this will kind of help me keep on track a little bit as well with what I have going on, and be maybe a little bit of a video diary in addition to, you know, I don't know, whatever else one does these things for. So yeah, this is awkward and weird. How are you supposed to sign off? I will see you next time, whenever next time is. And I also recorded some co-working sessions, which is basically just a sped up time lapse of me working on stuff. So I'm going to upload that at the same time. So I'll put out like 2 or 3 videos all at once. And one, of course, will be this video. And then I'll have 2 other co-working videos, which are, you know, kind of in the, I think they're both like in the 8 to 10 minute range, of me working on stuff with some nice music in the background, and then you can pull something out and you can work on it at the same time, and it'd be really fun. Kind of like body doubling on the internet together separately. So that's what I have going on, and next time we'll talk about hopefully how I finished this, and that it's blocking, and that I finished something else. Oh, hey, you know, maybe that tank that I'm supposed to finish for work. Hopefully the next time I have finished that as well. So we will see what is happening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!